Hello everyone, welcome back to our engineering chemistry session. We are going to continue our previous point, that is prevention of corrosion control. So in today's module we are going to discuss about the cathodic and anodic protection. So at the end of this session you will able to suggest the methods for corrosion control. Now in this cathodic and anodic protection we need to understand first, which metal will act as anode and get corroded. So as already we have discussed, the metal which is higher placed in the electrochemical series, that will act as a anode, it is more active and get corroded. Okay, so the metal which are placed at the bottom of series or lower in the position, that are acting as a cathode, and these are noble metals and get protected. Okay, let us start with the cathodic protection. Now in this cathodic protection you need to remember the principle. So as per the phenomenon of corrosion, the metal which is acting as an anode will get corroded, whereas the metal which is acting as a cathode will get protected. So if we want to apply the cathodic protection, that means the metal we have to convert from anode to cathode. Okay, suppose I want to protect the metal structure made up of iron. I want to protect the metal structure which is made up of iron. Then it should act as a cathode. But if it is acting as an anode, it will get corroded. Okay, so when it will act as a cathode, if the metal which is higher placed than the iron is in contact with the iron metal, then it may get protected. How? Because higher placed metal will act as an anode and automatically iron become cathode. Suppose zinc is placed in contact with the iron, then what will happen? Zinc is acting as an anode and copper will acting as a iron will acting as a cathode. Okay, so we have to force the metal to behave like a cathode. So the metal structure to be protected is forced to behave like cathode, is the principle of cathodic protection. Now this can be done by using two methods. First one is cathodic protection by using sacrificial anode. The example which I just explained you, that is of this method, sacrificial anode. So if I want to protect this structure of the metal, okay, iron. You consider this example. I want to protect this underground structure which is made up of iron. Okay. Now, this is acting as a anode and get corroded. But I want to protect it from the corrosion. So what should it act as? It should behave as cathode. So when it will behave as cathode? If the another metal which is higher placed than the iron is kept in contact with this iron, then it will act as a cathode. Suppose I kept zinc in contact with the iron. So zinc metal will acting as a galvanic anode. So there is a formation of galvanic cell. Okay, zinc will act as anode, iron will act as cathode, and it will get protected. So this object to be protected is kept in contact with the insulating wire in contact with the galvanic anode such as zinc. Okay, so that is considered as a sacrificial anode. So why sacrificial anode? This zinc is acting as an anode and it sacrifices itself. Itself undergoes corrosion. That's why this method is known as by using sacrificial anode. Now the applications of cathodic protection. So this can be used for the protection of underground cables, then pipelines which are underground, then marine structures, piers, laid up ships, hulls, etc. Okay, so ship hull, that also you may know. Ship is under the water. Okay, so complete ship is not under the water, no? So its bottom part which is known as hull, that is under the water, and this undergoes corrosion. So if I attach some small piece of zinc to the ship hull, then that zinc piece will act as anode and ship hull will act as a cathode and get protected. So in the same way as like this example, that can also be protected. Okay. Then cathodic protection by using impressed current. So what is the meaning of impressed current? So in this method, an impressed current is applied in an opposite direction of corrosion current to nullify the corrosion current and to convert the corroding metal from anode to cathode. So let us see the example. Suppose again this is the underground structure, either pipeline or anything else. So the structure to be protected is here. Then you have to take some inert electrode in contact with this. Okay, means to complete the circuit. In general, corrosion current always flows from anode to cathode. Where corrosion current flows? That is from anode to cathode. Okay. Now we have to apply the current in opposite direction, means cathode to anode, so that total current will become 0. Means your corrosion current is flowing from this anode to cathode, but we are applying the current in the opposite direction. You can see here the current flow. So current is applied in the opposite direction, so that total current becomes nullified, becomes 0. Okay. So that is the basic principle of this impressed current cathodic protection. So in this way total current will become 0 and that metal structure will acting as a cathode and get protected. So this can be done by applying sufficient amount of direct current from the DC source such as battery or rectifier. Okay, to an insoluble anode. So insoluble and that inert anode I already told you. So that is like the graphite, then silica, etc. Okay, these are buried in the soil or impressed in the corroding medium and connected to the metallic structure to be protected. So the anode may be an inert material or it may which deteriorates and will have to be replaced periodically. Okay, and this anode is buried in backfill such as coke bricks or gypsum to increase the electrical contact between itself and surrounding soil. Means you are not going to keep this as a open. This anode, suppose it is graphite. Okay, so it is not kept as a open. It is covered with the gypsum. Means it is kept in this, suppose this is a gypsum, and in this gypsum this graphite is kept to increase the electrical contact with the surrounding soil. Now the applications of this cathodic protection by using impressed current. So this can be used for the protection of buried pipelines, water tanks, transmission line towers, condensers, marine structures, etc. Okay, so all these are the applications of cathodic protection by using the impressed current. So what is the overall principle of cathodic protection? The metal structure to be protected is forced to behave as like the cathode. Now the second type of protection is anodic protection. So what do you understand by the anodic protection? Okay, so in anodic protection the metal structure to be protected is acting as anode. Listen it carefully. The metal structure to be protected is acting as anode. So you may think that how then it will get protected? So there is a one phenomenon which is known as passivity. Okay, so in this passivity phenomenon I already explained this, I think, in the factors. Okay, so passivity means what? The metals are initially in the active state and later on these active metals converted into the passive one. So there is an active to passive transition, means from active state to the inert state. Okay, so that it will get protected from the corrosion, and that is the phenomenon of passivity. So this anodic protection is applicable mainly in the metals which shows the phenomenon of passivity. Okay. So in this method, the metal is passivated by applying the current in a direction that renders it more anodic. Means what? The metal is made more anodic. You have to increase its oxidation rate. Anodic reaction is promoted, and this technique is applicable only to the metals and alloys which exhibit active-passive transition or the phenomenon of passivity. So which are that metals? Generally these are stainless steel and some metals as like titanium, aluminium, chromium. All this shows active-passive transition. So in this we can apply this anodic protection. So why it is possible in these metals? Okay. So what happen on increasing the anodic reaction, that means oxidation reaction is increased. So there is a formation of protective layer. As we know, when the metal undergoes corrosion by the action of oxygen, it forms the oxides, and that will form various types of oxide films. In the metals which shows the active-passive transition, there is formation of stable non-porous type of oxide film or layer. So this layer is now acting as a barrier between the metal structure and the corrosive environment. Okay. So that initially there is corrosion up to some extent, but later on when there is a formation of this protective layer, then further corrosion is not possible. So that is actually the principle of anodic protection. Okay. So in this method, the anodic current is controlled carefully and applied to these materials. They are passivated and the rate of metal dissolution is decreased. So to protect a structure anodically, a device called as a potentiostat is used. So in this diagram you can see the device, that is potentiostat. Now this potentiostat is a device which maintains the constant potential with respect to the reference electrode. So in this diagram you can see there are total 3 terminals. Okay. This first one, then second and third. Okay. So these 3 terminals are connected to 3 different electrodes. So which are that? First one, that is connected to the tank to be protected. Okay. Then second terminal is connected to the reference electrode, and third one terminal is connected to the auxiliary electrode or auxiliary cathode. Okay. So metal tank is the structure to be protected, and that is acting as an anode. Then another is auxiliary electrode or cathode, that is made up of platinum, and third is connected to the reference electrode, which is calomel electrode. Now this potentiostat maintains a constant potential between the tank and the reference electrode. So in this anodic protection, the corrosion can be decreased up to some extent. So the important parameters in this anodic protection we have to take in consideration. So which are that parameters? The first one, the potential range should be wider so that the metal will exhibit active-passive behavior. Then second point is current density. So current density should be as low as possible to start the protection of metal. And third one, the lower the passive current, the lesser will be the operating cost, and anodic protection system has a large throwing power and hence quite complex structure that can also be protected by using this anodic protection. So during this anodic protection, as we are going to increase the rate of anodic reaction, that means oxidation. You can see this metallic tank. Suppose this metallic tank is filled with this solution which is of acid. Okay. For example, this is filled with this acid H+. Now as we increase the rate of oxidation, So it will form the protective layer. This protective layer will get adhere on the inner wall of this tank. So this is the wall, inner side of this tank. Okay. Now this red color you consider as the oxide film is formed on this inner wall of the tank. So what will happen? Now there is a barrier between this tank wall and this electrolyte. H plus is acting as an electrolyte, acid solution. So before formation of this layer, oxide film, this tank was directly in contact with the acid solution. Okay. But now as this layer is formed or it covers the inner wall of that tank, so that there is a barrier, means this tank wall and this solution that can't meet to each other directly. So there in between that there is a oxide layer, and now because of this protective film, this tank wall is acting as a passive. Okay, so initially it was active, now it is in the passive state. Okay, so we can control the corrosion by using this anodic protection, but we can't completely eliminate the corrosion. Okay, now the advantages of this anodic protection. So operating cost is low. For operating we need not to expend much, but for installation the cost is high. Then second advantage, it is used to protect the complex structures because throwing power is more. Then it is applicable to highly corrosive media. So what it indicates? Suppose there are various metallic tanks which are used to store the chemicals, acids, alkalis, etc. Okay, so all other methods get failed in the control of corrosion of these tanks, and in that case we can use this anodic protection. Definitely we can't completely avoid the corrosion by anodic protection, but we can reduce it appreciably by using anodic protection. Then applications of this. So this can be used in the metal condensers, water coolers, chemical reactors, complex metallic structures which are installed on ground or under seawater. Then limitations of this anodic protection. So as already I told you, the installation cost is high. Then high starting current is required. Okay. Then high corrosion rate occurs if system goes out of control. We need to take care to control the system, and it is applicable to only those metals which shows active passive transition. So at the starting of this anodic protection, I told you this method is applicable only in the metals which shows active passive transition, or that is the phenomenon of passivity. Okay, so all this is about the cathodic protection and anodic protection. In our next session, we will continue the last one method to apply the method to control the corrosion, that is coating. So metallic coatings and non-metallic coatings. Thank you.